in literature you will find overlapping theories of the philosophy of education. And one overlapping theory with the first one that we've looked at so far, idealism, is perennialism. They are more or less the same with slight modifications or differences. So let's look at perennialism briefly. The focus is teach ideas that are everlasting, and that's what idealism also says. The great literature, the classics, the old works, the back to basics, all kind of tie in with what perennialism says is teach ideas that are everlasting. Seek enduring realities which are constant, not changing. And that's what idealism also says. Teach the basics, they don't change. Basics of literature, basics of math, basics of science, basics of geography, all that remain the same. The basics won't change. What you build years later may change depending on newer things that are found, but the basics will still be the same. That's another similarity between perennialism and idealism. Through great literature, art, philosophy, and religion, the same things that idealists propound, teach the great literature, teach religion, teach philosophy, teach art, teach all those wonderful things. And what perennialism does is, you teach the same things year after year. If a teacher is teaching class 1 English or class 2 math or class 3 science for 20 years, okay, in classes 1, 2, and 3, we are still looking at the basics of language, the basics of math, the basics of science. And so the teacher has taught the same thing year after year after year for 20 years. And the teacher claims, I have 20 years of teaching experience. Incorrect. The teacher has 1 year of teaching experience multiplied 20 times. Nothing has changed. The experience is the same. And that is what perennialism does and believes in. Teach the same thing year after year after year. You teach the same thing. Schools begin in August. So in August you start with the first chapter. By the time you come to December and February and May, you're at the same level year after year after year. Nothing changes because a perennialist does not believe in change. The perennialist would like the idealist, to see the things taught again and again and again. Because every year, the classroom is the same, the syllabus is the same, the textbook is the same, the teaching methods are the same, the teacher is the same. What has changed? The only thing that has changed from year to year is the students in the classroom. So with a new group of students, I teach the same thing. They don't know what I taught last year or 3 years ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago. So even in my 21st year around, I will teach the same thing to 21st batch of students coming to my class. That, to me, sounds boring. If I am doing the same thing, it's like a robot. You know, you do the same thing year after year after year after year. It is boring. But for a perennialist, it is great. Perennialists enjoy this. They don't get bored teaching the same thing year after year. They would hate for the school to change a textbook, because when a textbook changes, something changes, and perennialists don't like changes. So to a perennialist, using the same textbook for donkey's years would not hurt at all. These are some proponents of the perennialist approach: Robert Hutchins, Jacques Maritain, Mortimer Adler, and Alan Bloom. You can read up, if you're interested, about the contributions or why these people believe and propound the perennialistic approach to education. Obviously, they are strong believers in what they try to preach, which is perennialism. They believe it, they live it, and there are lots of teachers today who would love and are following in their footsteps in our classrooms today.